This is the Live Fire Media Show, episode 37. This is a show where we talk about guns, gear, movies, games, music, and whatever the hell else comes to our heads. Your host of the always entertaining and sometimes FUD, Hunter of Range Hot.
Woo!
God, he's going to pull my earmuffs away. I'm Kawaka47, a.k.a. Dave from High Point.
Boo.
Oh, blow me. Let's get into the show. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man.
So, just before we really start recording, I asked you if you've watched Stranger Things. You finished it, like all of it.
I did.
I say audio podcast, pal. Some like verbiage.
That's why I was shaking my head and going, I did.
And I did too. We finished it just the other night.
I was sorely disappointed.
With the ending?
Yeah.
Okay. Why? This is probably the main thing that's been rattling in my head for several days now. Is I've listened to a couple of different people from different podcasts talk about the ending, whether they thought it was good, whether they thought it sucked, or whatever. And I thought it was fine.
I feel like we touched on this last time. They got too much budget and they started relying more on special effects and story.
For sure.
The first season was great.
Oh,
sure. You had kids that were somewhat inept but had good hearts, right. And they tried, and it was just a very endearing story. And their struggle was always uphill, and you always wondered, were they going to make it? And they always somehow managed to pull it off. But now they're superheroes, and they could outflank, outmaneuver, and outperform the best of the U.S. military. A handful of them managed to defeat this demigod living on another plane. Nobody got hurt. Right. I mean, the one chick, Nancy, she's 90 pounds, soaking wet, and she's out there with a look like a some sort of M4.
That was XM 177.
Okay,
she comes up and does this to reload it. Pulls on the charging handle.
Oh,
it's like the button was here, and you're like, she gets a magazine in, but she comes up and goes like this, like she's charging off the handle. It was like,
yeah.
I feel like people bitch about that.
But
whatever. It's because we're gun guys. We'll pick that shit apart.
She was rocking that thing. I mean, she was 90 pounds with zero training, just out of high school. She was able to do one mag dump after the other, keeping on target. I mean, I know guys in the military think she's that good.
Dude, before the ending, she was killing the fuck out of dudes in guard towers and shit, popping out of the box truck.
Yeah,
it's like, what the fuck?
Right. She was at least equal to a Delta Force operator as far as shooting ability.
Right.
And she learned that as in her junior year of college.
Yeah, something like that.
She hadn't. Yeah. So. It's unrealistic, man.
So, okay, here's my thing. Yes, I could completely tear apart the whole 2-hour finale, tear the whole thing apart and nitpick the shit out of it. But I can also do that to virtually every other movie and show that I genuinely like. But overall, as a whole, as a series ending, I thought it was fine. Again, yes, you can nitpick the shit out of it, but it was fine.
It left a lot.
It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. I think it was bad.
It trended toward bad. To me,
I get that, because I agree with you in the sense of like the stakes have been gone for a long time. They wouldn't kill anybody off because they hadn't killed anybody off unless it's a new character for a new season like Eddie, and they kill Eddie off,
Which he was one of the most interesting characters of the whole show.
Oh, for sure, and they killed him off in the season they brought him in.
Right.
But okay, let's ask this. So spoilers ahead. If you've not watched the finale, well, tough shit. 11. Did she die? Or did you think Mike's story was legit? Or do you think it's completely left open to interpretation?
Well, the Duffer Brothers said that it was open to interpretation. However, my
good for them. What do you take? What's your take from it, though?
Well, I mean, they speculated that the other chick, her sister, created an illusion.
Right.
but the buildings completely blew up, and she was in one of those buildings.
Right.
So how would she have continually created an illusion once she was scattered across what was left of the Upside Down?
Well, and the fact that they showed her die. I mean, she had a pretty high
thoracic,
high thoracic center mass shot.
But with what we know was probably 124 grain Full Metal Jacket or 147 grain Full Metal Jacket. So it was what's that?
124 is NATO, so I would say it was
right.
124, but still, yeah.
So it was a through and through.
Yeah.
Destroying organs and bone and all that right through her.
Looked very center, like could have even been a spine hit too.
Right. So it was, could she have survived it? Yeah. I mean, if the ambulance rolled up,
right,
probably. But when the bombs went off, or was that her? Did she create that an entire illusion of everything exploding?
So I'll say it's this: the initial 11 died, stayed in there with the destruction, everything. Cool. I was great with that.
I thought it sucked,
and then I was fine. I don't mind. I like dark endings and heroes die and shit in films. Just Charlton Heston stuff, But then Mike's story at the end explaining where they all went on to, and him believing, I think that was like him coping and grieving that she's gone. Because like you said, yeah. At first I was kind of like, did she really make it? My wife's like, oh, she made it. I was like, I don't think so. Because like you said, Kay or Callie, whatever, in that building, one, they already showed her dead. Okay, fine. So maybe she hadn't bled out yet. But you mean to tell me she could pull that illusion off as that building was in full on destruction to hide 11 from getting by? Like, I don't buy it. But at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me in a couple of years if we see Miley Bobby Brown show up in an 11 spinoff show because she needs something else to do, and so that'll just prove that what Mike says at the end was correct and whatever.
I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed season 1. Season 2 was okay. I really enjoyed season 3. Season 4 was not so good. And, season 5, I felt like was probably the worst of them all. And Rotten Tomatoes would agree with that. Because that season 5 was the lowest rated season.
Fuck Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you the general consensus.
Yeah. No, I overall I enjoyed all of it, but again, like you said, I can easily nitpick and tear apart all of it. I mean, the amount of war crimes they committed, and the military, like 18 months later, it's like that's fine. Linda Hamilton's character, they didn't do shit with her. She was just
Murray.
There. I mean,
Murray, who was really, I feel like, the unsung hero of the show. All the really big shit that had to happen, Murray facilitated.
Yeah. He did.
And
like I said, that's why I said I was fine with it. Like, okay, I was trying to think today, what season finales of a show that you enjoyed when it ended, you were like, yeah. What show season finales that you enjoyed when it ended, you were like, oh yeah. Or aren't all of them? You're kind of a little bummed and sad because it was a show you enjoyed and it's ending.
But you got closure.
Well, it's fine, but it'll still make you happy with it.
Three's Company. That was that was a great last. You were sad, but Longmire. You were sad, but you got closure. Everything. Oh, Sheriff Longmire hooked up with the blonde. Can't fault him on that one. Vic, wow. Longmire, Justified. Longmire, Justified, 2 of my favorite TV shows.
I don't remember Justified's ending.
Really? You should go to YouTube and just watch. Do you remember the old boy that wore a really stupid looking hat that was a fast draw?
Well, I know that. I'm saying I don't remember the ending.
Okay.
I remember Timothy Olyphant playing the character, and he's awesome.
No. Not Raylan Givens, but the old boy wore a stupid hat that was the fast draw.
No.
Young guy.
No.
It showed he drew down on Raylan Givens there at the street, and then remember, old boy got locked up. and the blonde chick faked her death?
No.
Yeah. What was Walter Coggins' character's name?
Oh fuck, I can't remember in that one. Let me see.
But he got locked up.
Right.
And then he was born again, preaching in church.
Right.
And at the end they were talking about, so many times Raylan didn't kill him, and he was like, why? It's like, because we dug coal together. And the blonde, she faked her death. Boyd Crowder.
Boyd Crowder, as I just
She faked her death so Boyd wouldn't keep looking for her because she got pregnant, had his son. Raylan knew. Yeah. Justified and Longmire had good, solid endings where when it was over, I was like, well, I'm sad the show was over because I enjoyed it, but, fulfilled.
Right.
I'm going to equate the ending from Stranger Things to The Sopranos. It left
just mid-sentence cut out.
Yeah, it left more questions than it answered. If that was the last episode of a season, all right, I'd be like, ooh, holy shit,
See, I don't know. I guess that's where I don't feel that way because, like, when you had Mike telling his story, it wasn't just him telling his story. It was also showing that basically just their lives just go on. And that's kind of like, I don't know. I was fine with that because I was trying to think of like what shows would end it. I was kind of like, fuck yeah. You said Justified, and made me think was The Shield. Did you watch that one?
Yeah. Oh,
The Shield had a great, dark, fucked up ending. Half his team's dead. The other dude's going to jail for his crime. He committed.
Walter Coggins kills himself.
Right.
Poison him and his wife.
But then you got Vic himself, who he gets immunity, and he gets his new DHS job as a desk jockey, knowing that every day he's going to sit there and just rot at a desk and never do anything else. Considering he was trying to go clean this straight, I was like, that was an ending. I was kind of like, damn, the show.
Yeah, The Shield had that was another one of my favorite TV shows. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Great show and great ending.
Yeah, man, it was twisted up, but it was a good show.
Because like I was trying to think, my son and I've been watching Star Trek: The Next Generation. My rewatch for me, first watch for him. And I was trying to remember, I was like, man, I can visualize and see bits and pieces of the season or the series finale. And I can think, I remember when it aired, like it was fine, but you also didn't care because you knew they were going into a film.
Right.
Because the original crew just quit their sixth film or finished their sixth film. So you knew the TNG, it was their crew's turn now to get a few films out. So it was kind of like, it was a bummer. Like the show was like done for new episodes, but you knew more bigger shit was coming. So it's like, whatever. Another sci-fi I did like was the Battlestar Galactica remake. Had a pretty heavy.
I didn't watch that.
Did you ever watch the original like show in the 70s, 80s?
Yeah.
I mean, its general premise is very much some of the same.
But I can't remember that. I was a kid.
It's okay. I'll fill in real quick. I mean, the general premise is obviously the humans get attacked by their machines they created, the Cylons, and they're looking for their lost 13th colony called Earth. Well, towards the end of the show, they find Earth, but it's an irradiated wasteland full of corpses of them and the Cylons that they've built. So, like, history repeats itself. So they keep searching for another planet now because Earth is a radiated wasteland. Well, they find a planet. Well, guess what? It is our Earth. But there's no civilization. There's like only primitive people walking around. They abandon all their technology and shit and just like, all right, we're just going to live out here and evolve. And people talk about different parts of the globe they're going to. And two characters that were in the heads of two other characters, in the end, you see them again. And it's like modern day New York City. And these two like head characters, clearly now they're not just head characters. They were maybe a divine, entity, are talking about how the cycle is going to repeat itself yet again. And it was like, all right, that's cool. That's cool that basically Battlestar Galactica was literally our past, like that's kind of cool as shit. And implying that there is a God, because I remember one of the lines is the one guy keeps saying about he this, he that, and the woman, she's like, well, who says that God is a he? And it's kind of like, okay, well, it's God, doesn't really matter.
I don't think he has a gender.
Right. That's why it's an omnipotent being. But I remember that was a cool ending of a show. But I was trying to think like the X-Files, the initial series run. I can't remember. I can't remember the series finale at all. I flat out don't remember it. I mean,
and I enjoyed that show, and I don't really.
Same.
Of course, I will say this: it popped up on one of the streaming services I've got, and I started rewatching it.
Oh yeah,
and some of them were good, but a lot of them were not as good as I remembered.
I don't know. I feel like I've gone back and I feel like they're all pretty. I mean, some of them come off way more dated than others.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
like
man.
And like the first season, anytime you have like a SWAT team or an FBI SRT team, they look kind of corny. Their movements are kind of corny. There's a lot of cup and saucer shit going on.
Yeah.
Again, that's the gun nerd, bitching about it. But I can't remember the show's finale. So again, that's why circling back to Stranger Things, I was just like, it was fine. I wasn't upset with it. I could tear it apart, but
it could have been worse.
It could have been worse.
But when it was over, I looked at Ken and I was like, not great. She's like, not great. And then we turned the TV. So,
That's a hard thing, man. It's a hard thing to end a show, though. When you put that much time, into watching something, how do you end it, really and truly?
The thing I'm going to say a lot of the problem with that TV show was, while it was amazing, it took them so fucking long to come out with a new season.
Well, that's a modern Hollywood bullshit and streaming services and not planning shit out. That's well beyond a Stranger Things thing. That's not just them, man.
Right, but if you've got 2 years between seasons, people are losing interest.
Well, we watched on Netflix the Netflix series Wednesday, based off Addams Family.
Yeah,
watched
the first season was really good.
Enjoyed the shit out of it, but then by the time the second season rolled around, it's taken us forever to watch it because it's not as engaging. And
I think I got through about 3 episodes of it, and I was watching because Candy and I watched the first season together.
Right,
and we were like, "This is really kooky. It's cool. Yeah. I'm enjoying it."
Yeah,
but then the second season
is it's off.
We got to I think the 3rd or the 4th episode, and didn't even finish it. We're like, never mind.
Yeah, I think we're halfway through it, but we've had like massive gaps in watching it. Like, now that Stranger Things is over, maybe we'll try. And Eva likes it. She, for the minimal level she watches it.
Sure.
We'll try and finish it. But I wasn't anywhere near as engaged with this season as I was the first season of it.
Landman is pretty good if you've watched that.
I have not. And the wife just saw a preview for it. I think it was last night. And she's like, "What's that?" I was like, "A show we should watch. I hear it's really, really, really good."
It's real. You couldn't watch it with Eva.
Right. No, that's fine.
It's really good. It's very adult. The first season is real good. We are just a couple episodes into the second season. And it's pretty decent.
Right.
It's good. I don't know that it's going to be as good as the first season, but now we've only watched a couple episodes.
Right. So you got to give them a little more time.
So yeah. But it's certainly Billy Bob Thornton is his perfect self. He is a fantastic, phenomenal actor. And
I don't give two shits about him, but whatever role he does, he like owns it. Like
he is so good. He is so good at what he does in this, man. That
that's cool.
So yeah, man, that's that with that, yo.
Well, so if we want to roll from that, I just want to pick your brain a little bit, just because of picking up that B&T GHM9.
Mm-hmm.
What are you? Give me your like top 5 production PCC subguns that are in use. I know your favorite is a Tommy gun, so that's what I'm saying. Taking that out, so it's like currently still in use.
I could give you my number one favorite pistol caliber carbine is an AR, really? SBR, and 9mm.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. No shit.
And so Barnes makes one, and I
figured that's where you're going with it. Was a Barnes one.
But now I've got my most experience with Andrew. So
right.
Andrew Barnes, he actually gave me one for my birthday a couple years ago.
Nice.
Really nice. It actually it matches my 5.56 SBR. You know,
that's actually cool.
The colors are very similar.
What kind of mags does this use?
So it uses Glock mags, and it's got an adapter that goes in the magwell.
Stern defense adapter.
Stern defense.
Okay.
Now
those are cool.
But now Andrew they make a kit to adapt PMags to run 9mm.
I've seen that.
So when you order,
aesthetically pleasing.
Yes, when you order from him, he gives you an option. Do you want it with a Stern defense? Do you use your Glock mags, or do you want it with a couple PMags converted? And then if you want more mags, you just got. I like the Glock mags because I don't have to convert any other magazines.
Sure.
I can go out and buy 5, giggle sticks, and they work.
Right.
But now I'm a huge AR fan, big time, for the aesthetics and the ergonomics. And in 9mm, even full auto 9mm suppressed with subs, dude, it's highly controllable. It's quiet. Barnes runs he runs a pretty low socket rate of, not that full auto matters, but in his full auto stuff that I've ran, it runs a pretty low socket rate of fire. So it's a lot more controllable than, let's say, something that's just zipping through it.
Right. So
if I had to say my favorite pistol caliber carbine would be a Barnes Precision Machine AR in 9mm, a little 7.5 SBR or even 11.5.
Yeah, that's cool.
Beyond that, I'll be honest with you, Dave. I don't want you to roll your eyes at this, but I really, really like the High Point 10mm.
Right. Yeah.
And I like it because it is a 10mm in a true 16-inch carbine.
Right.
I know it's what, 10+1?
Yeah, 10+1.
So capacity is not crazy, but it is extremely reliable and it is extremely affordable.
Yeah.
So I feel like when you're thinking about, okay, let's talk about some really good pistol caliber carbines, you can't discount something because maybe it's not aesthetically as pleasing.
Right.
Because it's something that somebody could go out and afford to buy. And I mean, you go buy a High Point 10mm carbine and go shoot deers with it.
Right.
So
I've got guys who are doing that this year with 10 mils.
So, I would say throw the High Point carbine in there, but it'd be the 10 or the 45, I think, would be my first choice.
Right.
Daddy.
Hi, baby. You going to bed?
Yeah, can I say no?
Well, you can say bye. You're not going to hear him.
Night, Hunter.
Good night, Sugar Bear.
Did you hear him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I put in my ear close.
Said good night, Sugar Bear.
She's so cute.
Night, baby. Yeah, no. I really wouldn't. I mean, this is like a ranking list. It's just saying just top 5 in general. No, I absolutely wouldn't discredit the High Points by any means, because of what they are, what niche they fill on multiple levels, whether it's 9mm, the 45, or like you said, the 10mm. No, it is a solid carbine. And that's not, regardless of them, my paycheck coming from them has nothing to do with that. Right. It is a damn well built gun. I mean, and they serve that purpose, and it gets you into the shooting that kind of shit too.
And and here's the thing: it's not just me that thinks that, because Dave, anytime I review a High Point, and I approach it objectively. I'm a High Point fan, but I approach it if there's something wrong with it or something I don't like about it, I mention it.
Right.
But when I post a review on Range Hot, man, it's always so well received. 90% of the comments are good. You got the 10%. Oh, it's a cheap piece of shit.
Yeah, you're always gonna get that.
You're gonna get that. You get that with anything, and that's your signal to noise ratio.
Right.
So So a lot of people are fans of the High Point stuff. And if they were truly a piece of shit, High Point would be out of business.
That's something I've said for quite a long time. You can't make a piece of shit and be in business for 35 years.
Not unless you're not unless you're in a communist country and the government subsidizes you.
No government subsidy here.
Right. So, I think High Point deserves to be in that list. It kills me to say this, but the MP5, because it is so iconic.
Okay, so you threw out the Barnes Precision AR9. I'm not huge on AR9s, but that's because there's such varying degrees. I've shot some that were rough as shit. I've shot some that were extremely smooth, like a MBX. Their precision, like USPSA. That's my first experience to one. Was a guy who was a grandmaster in PCC, and he had an MBX, and I shot it, and I was like, dude, this is a blowback or gas operator? He goes, no, it's a blowback. I'm like, holy shit, very well tuned. And that kind of makes me think the way you praise in the Barnes, that Barnes guns are probably really well tuned in that sense too, that they're probably of the better of the high end AR9s, because I think a lot of them are very snappy, where I think a High Point is smoother than most AR9s.
It is. Well, when Andrew, I didn't even know Andrew had come out with them, and he shows up at my birthday party. He's like, here. And I'm like, oh, what is this? A review gun? He goes, happy birthday. Don't forget to log it in, And I was like, all right. Nice. And then we went out and shot it, and it was smooth. And I said, damn, when did you come out with this? He's like, I've been R&D on this for 3 years, man.
Holy shit.
And he's like, I built a dozen, because he does a lot with like third group and all, with Fort Bragg Special Forces. So he knows a lot of those guys, first name basis. So he built like a dozen and called these guys up, and they're like, hey, stop by the shop. Here, I'm going to give this to you. You can have it. Shoot it, wear it out, break it, but give me feedback.
Right.
And so, for a year, he was giving them away to people to get feedback, and he made
that's cool
changes accordingly. And he kept it, didn't even kept it under his hat, didn't even tell me, because when he's like, I'm going to announce this within the next few months. So here's like one of the first ones. He's like, but for like the first year that I was tweaking with it, I hadn't even made my mind up for sure if it was ever going to become an actual a catalog piece. So I think that's why his is so well done, is because he spent not only himself, who is Barnes a phenomenal shooter,
right,
but he gave enough away to people who are also, professional trigger pullers,
right,
to get good feedback and make changes.
That's cool.
So that, I think that matters. And like you said, the High Points, they're blowback, but they're certainly easy to shoot, and they're not over heavy. I think just how you got the bolt weight and the spring and all that, it just works out.
Well, and that's where I was going to agree with you then, saying, so that was the two I had was the High Point, same points, but and then the MP5, and it's kind of like, because MP5 is kind of like the subgun, of the AR-15.
Yeah.
How old is AR-15? People forget AR-15 is fucking old.
It come out, Eugene Stoner was designing the I don't remember. I know that at one time it was truly an AR-15, but this was like back in the 50s. I think he began experimenting with this.
Right. So I mean, it's near as old as, say, like an AK-47. Really,
right?
Like
it was fielded early in Vietnam.
Right.
So,
so look at the MP5 and went into service in 1966. So probably service wise, the MP5 and the AR-15 are like
pretty
neck
similar.
and neck. Yeah. And I think it just proves to show that what designs are so good that stand the test of time. Now, the AR, I will say, modern machining, modern materials, like doing quad rail handguards, flat top upper receivers, we've well beyond evolved the AR to like its pinnacle, and nothing has really overtopped it. Whereas the MP5, it's gotten some really good aftermarket support, and so it is still going good. But I still think it does have some drawbacks to other PCCs going into that market. Like it's tight on real space. It's tight for if you want to run your optic and your laser, and your light and all that shit. It gets a lot harder on MP5, but it's still doable.
But back then,
no, none of that.
Right, that wasn't a question.
Or you had the really tall carry handle mount for your flashlight, but you looked underneath the thing,
Yeah.
On MP5, the huge claw mount, But yeah, MP5 is still, it's still an amazing firearm.
And it's iconic. I mean, even non-absolutely
iconic.
See that and know kind of what it is. And, of course, it helped John McClane save the Nakatomi Tower. So let's don't discount that.
Right.
Of course, if he'd have had a Thompson with a 1911.
Oh, God, here we go. No,
whatever.
Jesus. Somewhere in alternate dimension, there's probably a version of that film where he has a 1911 and a Tommy gun.
And that film is 20 minutes. He just walks in there with a 100-round drum and just Dunskies.
Oh my God. That's funny.
So
45.
Yeah, so 3. I mean,
okay,
you're into pistol caliber carbines far more than I am.
Yeah. That's why I'm going to pick your brain. I want to hear what you have to say about it, and I'll throw in. I still have 3 that I would list that you probably won't.
Okay. Would you count the Marlin Trapper in 357? Because it's a.
Honestly, I would always consider, when I think PCC, I think more subgun. It's like self-loading, so not lever action.
But if we go by pistol caliber carbine,
no, you're totally correct in the terminology of the name. You're absolutely correct.
So
when I think modern PCC, I immediately go to subgun. But
I do too. I agree with you 100%. But if we're talking, if we're using the definition of pistol caliber carbine, I would say the Marlin Trapper in 357 or 10 millimeter, but probably 357 over 10 because it's more traditional.
Right.
My
lever action 357.
Between the two, I like the 10 millimeter a little better.
Sure.
But
caliber wise, that's personal opinions anyway. I don't care. I mean,
right.
Like what you like.
But I can tell you this, Dave. Of course, this. I mean, I'm going to say something you're as good or better than I do. Running a suppressed lever gun with 38 specials.
Stupid quiet.
It's so much fun.
Yeah. It's like 300 blackout, eat your heart out. I'm not saying the energy, but dear God, is it like movie quiet?
It's movie quiet, and you can run them as light as you want because you don't have to worry about cycle.
Yep.
So I'm gonna throw the Ruger. I'm gonna throw the Ruger Trapper in 357 Magnum 38 special in the mix.
Yeah.
Cool. And then you said 5. That gives me 4.
Correct.
Man, a 5th one.
I figured it's get tough on you since I said you couldn't use a Tommy gun.
Yeah. Wow. I'm embarrassed to say, well, God, this is going to suck, but the German Sturmgewehr.
In production.
I mean, huh?
In production.
Oh, now you didn't say in production, did you?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
In production, well, current production and in use.
Oh, apologies then, because I was
okay.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's okay.
Because it was like the first.
That's a Sturmgewehr. Well, that was like MP40, MP38s are all. The Sturmgewehr was an assault rifle.
Anyway. Right.
But no, PCC subgun. PCC subgun.
Man, I'm drawing a blank.
That's okay. I knew I was putting you on the spot, so how actually. Oh my gosh, I don't have 5. What the hell, man? I don't care. Not a big deal.
Well, I'm gonna go with Thompson.
Yep.
Barnes Precision.
You know what? Thompsons are still in production, so I'll let it slide. You can have the Thompson. There you go.
Thompson, a BPM 9mm AR, a High Point, and a Marlin Trapper.
Yeah. I can dig it.
And then man, on a 5th one. Why don't you let me marinate on that while you? I'm sure you
said Barnes,
yeah,
High Point, MP5, the Marlin, and Tommy gun. That's 5.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm covered.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. And actually, it's funny the Tommy gun. I just saw a video. I'm pretty sure it was Justin Moon showing like their new modernized Tommy gun had like a pick rail rear, so you could put virtually whatever stock on it.
Yeah.
Had pickety under it and had an angled forward grip on it. I was like, okay, like as much as I of all people, I am totally down with a certain level of modernization of old classic guns. That one, the way I saw it, I was like, I'm not feeling that. Like,
well, Auto Ordnance is doing an SBR Tommy gun that everything is the same as the original Tommy gun, except obviously not full auto.
Yeah, I knew that.
The SBR though was, I think, introduced last year.
I think that maybe they've done them off and on over the years because they've had like an M1A1 SBR before.
Okay,
but I had not seen it in a long time, so maybe they're bringing it back, and that's it. Thompson M1, yeah, that's a rifle there. And I don't think they don't have their new. No, they're Thompson SBRs.
They're expensive.
Shit got expensive, and damn that, yeah, M1 SB, there it is.
What is it, $2,500?
I don't think it says on here. I hate that, people don't put price tags on shit. Yeah. No, I don't see anything, but yeah, well, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you. The High Point MP5 on my end. So that's two. We talked about those. One that gets really forgotten about, the Beretta CX4.
Yeah.
You know of that one?
I do. Wow. It was a very modern looking.
Oh, absolutely.
Kind of futuristic looking.
Very much so.
Yeah.
That one, not gonna lie, again, because I'm a sci-fi nerd too. That one caught my attention because of Battlestar Galactica, the show. This became the rifle in the second season of the show.
Oh, okay.
But they had a Fox flash hider that I now have on mine. Go figure. Had an aim point comp 2. Yeah, cookies are fine. But then so the CX4, you can get it with typically either 92 Beretta mags, which obviously those are super plentiful, or at the time you could have gotten it with the PX4 pistol mag well adapter. I think you can change it like yourself. I wouldn't say it's like field change, but you can like tear the gun apart and swap out the insert for 92 to PX4 mags. But a cool thing about this gun, because this came out in early 2000s, you could reverse the charging handle.
Yeah.
There we go. You could reverse the ejection port.
For the lefties.
Yep. So you could make it lefty. The only thing that wasn't reversible was your slide stop bolt release, whatever you want to call it, wasn't reversible. The mag release was, and the safety still has a push button. So who gives a shit? It's fine. It's fine for both. But yeah, pretty badass ambi controlled setup gun at that time period to do.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think it just looks cool. I mean,
it's interesting.
I think the Battlestar version looks even cooler, but that's whatever. So yeah, so that's one. That was probably my first PCC was that thing. I still have it. I still love it. It's still fun to shoot, and it's fun even then having it. I didn't know jack shit about being a blowback action, and coming to work for High Point. I'm like, wait a minute, charging a High Point. I'm like, this doesn't feel all that different from my Beretta. The Beretta feels a little smoother, but it was just like, oh, look at that. It is like the same damn action. Like that's kind of cool. So there you go. So there's one.
Okay.
The other one was going to be the CZ Scorpion Evo.
I
Are you just thinking that?
No. I reviewed a Scorpion.
Yeah. And
I didn't love it.
No,
I didn't hate it. It was like everything on it was fine.
Okay.
But it nothing stood out.
Interesting.
For me, I strongly prefer the AR 9mm over that.
Okay. So yeah, I definitely would. Well, again, half of my stuff is obviously the aesthetics of it. I don't care for AR9s, the visual with Glock magazines in them. I
Yeah.
get the utility in it. I totally get that. I just don't care for the visual of it. I'd rather see you using the like the Colt style stick mags, or even hell, if you do a lower, like somebody makes a lower for an AR9 that uses Scorpion mags, because Magpul makes mags and CZ mags are cheap as is, so they're really good, affordable magazines. I don't know, man. I like the controls are AR similar. But it also had HK style forward charging handle that you could use. You could HK slap it, but also even better than MP5, it did have a last round hold open. So you could throw a new magazine in, hit a bolt release and drop it and go. It was kind of a poor man's MP5.
Right.
I don't know. I like it. I still have mine, but at the same time, I don't shoot as much now because I have an MP5, and MP5 is just fucking sweet. But I like these things. They look good. They feel good. It shoots really well, even being a short setup that it is. I've never messed with the carbine because I bought the short one. And it's a CZ. They make good shit. So,
I'm a big fan of CZ everything.
Absolutely. And I'm sure even if you didn't like it, still the gun ran fine for you. It was probably as accurate as anything else. I mean,
oh yeah, I didn't dislike it. It's just I didn't go, oh my God.
Right. I've got to keep this thing. This is awesome.
I sent it back.
I get it. I totally get it, man.
But there comes a time and point, Dave, where you're like, I can't keep all of them.
Sure. That's a huge reality, man.
So you gotta pick and choose, because you got budget constraints, or I do. So I pick and choose what I buy. And then CZ's always give me good deals.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, but nevertheless, it's still, contrary to what most people believe, most gun writers, they just don't heap these guns upon them.
Right.
They're not delivered in a truck full of blow by hookers. Because if that was the case,
don't ask the internet that, because the internet will tell you try and say otherwise. Oh, they get all this shit for free all the time. No.
Right.
You might get some shit free, but there's also shit you're still paying for if you want to keep it.
Well, and that's the thing too. I was having a conversation with a acquaintance of mine about it, and I think we had talked about what a deal I'd worked out with High Point, to where I think we traded an ad or something for the AR,
right?
And they're like, "Oh, you got that rifle for free?" I'm like, "Well, no, not really, man.
Not really."
I've got 30 hours worth of time, effort, and energy into a review.
Right.
I photographed it. I wrote an article. I videoed all these people. I cut all this shit together. So, do I have any money out of pocket? No, but I've got a lot of, sweat equity.
Yeah. Oh, time is money.
Time is money. But a lot of people, if they don't see, and because you've written articles for me, they don't see what goes into.
No.
And
ammunition alone, Jesus.
Well, exactly. It was a number of years ago. I was somewhere, and you and I may have spoke about this. Did I interrupt you? Did you get through your list?
No, I've got one more, but go ahead. You're fine.
No. I'm sorry, man. Go ahead. I was being completely rude. I was going off on a new topic, and I was like,
well, if you're changing up on me, hold on a second.
Yeah, I'm sorry, because I was
good.
in my brain. I'm like, I think he said 4.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. So the last one is a newer one that I recently picked up, and quickly I'm pretty wowed by it. That'd be the B&T, the GHM9.
Right.
Yeah, you can get it in Glock configuration, which I'm not a fan of. Again, it's aesthetically like. Let me scroll this thing back if I can. Yeah, seeing the stick mag versus the Glock angle mag, I just like the Subgun stick mag visual. And that's all it really is. It's just a visual to me.
Mm-hmm.
But this thing, there's the SD version. That's pretty dope too. This is probably one of the smoothest blowback guns I've ever shot. Like, I'm very impressed by it.
B&T does not fuck around.
They do not. And the cool thing for people who don't know, this thing being called the GHM9, GHM stands for grasshopper mouse. And the grasshopper mouse is known for eating scorpions,
right?
Scorpion, and I think they're impervious to the venom of a scorpion too.
Ah.
So like they literally built this thing to be like a scorpion killer. And it's funny, like The only downside to this gun, honestly, is that it's a blowback action for a lot of damn money. Other than that, you've got your ambi mag release, ambi bolt release, ambi safety controls, takes AR triggers. You can put on AR grips. Accents modular enough. You can use folding stocks, collapsing stocks, pick railed stocks, whatever you want. Obviously, enough rail across the thing for your optics, lasers. It is like as modular as an AR is in a subgun format. It's dope. My only downside besides blowback and reciprocating charging handle.
Does it have a reciprocating charging handle?
It does. And what's funny is I put it on the right-hand side like a Tommy gun, like an M1 Tommy gun.
Yeah.
Because I prefer to have it on the left, but at the same time, because it reciprocates and it sticks out like it does, it would I know it'll catch on my gear if I'm like hanging it slung off my kit. And two, I threw on a laser unit and pressure pad up on top, lasers on the side, pressure pads on top, and actually the charging handle got in my way of my right hand. So I was like, all the more reason I'll put it on the other side, because really and truly, you're only charging it every so often, because otherwise you're hitting the mag release.
Right.
Drop the bolt. But so it's blowback. It's reciprocating charging handle because the Scorpion is not reciprocating. Those are the only downsides. Other than that, it's absolutely phenomenal. It's just a sweet shooting thing. But good God, is it expensive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, B&T.
Like you said, yeah, they don't screw around. I mean,
no. I think an honorable mention, and you're probably going to roll your eyes, is the Keltec CMR 30.
Okay, I can look that one up because I get their stuff confused.
It's
CMR 30. Is that that's a pistol. They've changed the names, didn't they? Oh no! Oh yeah, CMR 30. Hold on, let me throw it back up. This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like literally a fucking poor man's MP7.
Yeah.
Yeah, 22 Magnum. That's absolute honorable mention. That's a pretty wicked pistol.
And
wicked
it holds. So that's actually considered a carbine. They do a PMR 30.
Yeah, pictured here is actually the carbine with a 6-inch barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That is actually a pretty wicked. Yeah, 30 round mag.
And the PMR 30 and the CMR 30, their mags are interchangeable.
Right.
And so on that one, so I reviewed that from Keltec a long time ago.
I vaguely remember that.
And I put a foregrip on it toward the end.
Mm-hmm.
And it, of course, as you might imagine, it has zero recoil.
Right.
It suppresses good enough. 22 mag is loud. You put a can on it,
right.
You put a real good rimfire can, or if you want to do yourself a favor, put a girthy 9mm can on it. And I mean, you can get 30 rounds through that thing pretty damn fast.
Right.
With a foregrip on it. And so I liked it fine. Now, how deadly is 22 mag? I actually did a 22 mag ballistics test. And
I mean, 22 mag is not fucking around.
No, it's not the FN57 cartridge.
Right.
But it's still, especially you got 30 rounds you can get off, and I mean, as quick as you can think about it.
That's me. Well, that's like falls back in the whole like don't get sucked into the marketing bullshit and Instagram operators saying you have to be running XYZ calibers and guns because it's not going to kill somebody and put them down. Man, you got enough ammo, 30 round magazine like this thing, and you fill dude up full of that shit.
What
that's gonna work.
I mean,
it's gonna get the job done.
Even if you tag somebody 6-8 times with a 22 mag,
right?
And they like Hornady makes the VMAX.
There's some wicked hot shit.
And Spear makes a gold dot 22 mag.
Oh, do they really?
Yes.
Damn.
And it actually expanded to, about 30 caliber.
Shit.
So, I mean, you tag somebody's ass 6-8 times with that. Whew.
Yeah.
And the fact that you get a CMR 30 and a PMR 30, and they take interchangeable mags, and each comes with 2 mags.
Right. You got a quick little supply mags.
Yep.
Both guns. Now I'll say I think because I've shot the pistol version. My only real complaint about it is the old school style European magazine heel release.
Yes. Yes, that's weird. That's weird. I concur.
Oh no, so I'm not going to be kicking in doors with the CMR 30 because of that. Oh no,
Right.
Like fucking okay.
But
Who
you know,
cares?
I put a little red dot on mine. I don't remember which one. I put a little red dot and a can on it. And I'm gonna tell you what, it was damn fun.
Yeah.
So I think that's worth an honorable mention.
Absolutely, dude. No, that was a solid throw out there.
So I got something and I'd like to talk about with you.
Sure, go for it.
Your opinion whenever you're done.
No, go for it.
Okay. So
It's called a segue.
So that's a good segue. I don't know if you saw in the news, but a teacher in Raleigh was beat to death at her own home.
I saw a little bit about that. Yes.
So she was pillar of the community, well loved in the community, and a guy was not long out of prison, been arrested who knows how many times. Broke into her house. She called 911.
Okay.
Was on the phone with 911 for a while. He found her, beat her to death while she was on the phone with 911, which is completely, I don't even have the words to express how grotesque that is.
Right.
And I'm so sorry for that woman and her family, because it is a fate that lovely lady surely did not deserve.
For sure.
And so Candy and I were talking about it because it got Candy's hackles up. And she's like, I want to do a short about this. Because, you know, Candy.
I think I saw it at my feed. I got distracted and didn't click on it.
So Candy has a little organization called the Gunpowder Gals. And she's actually an NRA certified handgun instructor. And she teaches some defensive handgun. And she's pretty damn competent with a handgun, I promise. And so she made the statement to me when she's like, you know how many damn women that I have talked to, and they're like, I don't need a gun. If something happens, all I gotta do is call 911.
No.
And
not enough.
And so, I say, Candy, why is that? Why are so many people, especially women, so against owning a handgun? And she's like, why do you think it is? And I'm like, I have a theory.
I'd say think they're just well, I don't know, because they don't know any better. Ignorance, main thing, ignorance.
Okay, so that's going to tie in with my theory.
Okay.
I think it's the media. I think that the media portrays gun owners as ignorant,
yes,
knuckle draggers,
yes,
Rambos,
yes,
dangerous,
yes.
And so people that are like, they're like not gun people, but you know, they're like, maybe I should I have a gun for home defense,
right?
But they see the media vilify gun owners. Yep. And they're like, I don't want to be a part of that. Oh my God. I didn't realize that these people, these gun owners, they're going out and they're 117,000 gun deaths every hour.
Well, look at the shit that we laugh about on social media. When we see some news organization somewhere in the country reports on some dude got arrested for whatever, it doesn't matter if it's whatever it was. And they talk about that he had,
an
4 or 5 guns, and they'll say it's an arsenal. And he'll have like a case of ammo between his 3 calibers, and they'll say it's a stockpile.
Right.
Rest of us, we all just laugh at it. But it's because like you said, we're forgetting it, and they're straight up vilifying all of us with that kind of shit.
They are
doing it that way.
But
it's bullshit.
But think about it, Dave. If you were not a gun guy, if you just your average guy that didn't know a whole lot about guns, and you watch the news as a lot of people do,
yeah.
Gun people are portrayed very, very poorly.
Yep.
And I said that to Candy, and she's like, I think you're onto something. And so, what if some of her reasoning, and I'm totally speculating here, but what the point I'm trying to make is I hate for this lady to have been completely wasted, her life wasted in vain.
Right.
You know, what if this media constantly vilifying gun owners? What if that wasn't so much the case, and perhaps she would have considered getting a home defense firearm? Now, and let me go on record saying that having a gun is not a talisman to ward off evil.
No, yeah, no. You have to know how to use it. You have to be comfortable with it. You have to be confident with it.
Right. Colonel Cooper said, and I'm paraphrasing because I'm nowhere near as eloquent as he is, but he said, you know, owning a gun makes you a marksman no more than owning a guitar makes you a musician.
Right.
But his thing was, but you get the gist.
No, that's absolutely on point. Absolutely right.
And so we saw the news article. Candy and I have a mutual friend. She's a single mom, lives at home, works a lot. And now she's not anti-gun. She's not pro-gun. She has no opinion on guns.
Right. She doesn't care. It's not part of her
life. She doesn't care. You know, she and I are friends. She knows I have guns, you know, and she's like, oh, if that's what you like, that's fine. I don't care. You know, I think, she's of the mindset, it's your right to have it if you want it, but it holds zero interest for me whatsoever.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, she's not anti-gun.
Right.
And I've known this woman for 6-8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've invited her to come go shooting with me. She's like, no, not interested. Thank you. Not interested.
Right.
So right around this news story, she calls Candy. And she says, hey, it was either Christmas night or the night after Christmas. She said somebody was banging on my door at like 3:30 in the morning.
Oh shit! Let's get you a little razzled up a little bit.
And she said they beat on it until it woke me up. And she was like, they were beating on it like they wanted in.
Wow.
Now she's there. She has a daughter. Probably Eva's almost 7.
Yeah.
I think her little girl's about 5.
Okay.
And all of a sudden now Mama Bear's kicking in. Wait a minute. It's not just me now. I've got this little girl, my little daughter, little 5-year-old daughter that is at the mercy of whatever comes through that door. Yep. And I'm the only thing between us. So Candy takes the call. She goes, hey, okay. So she walks on the porch and, she's getting it handled because I'm watching TV. And she said, okay. So she said, can I use your range on Wednesday? Not today, Wednesday, a week from today.
Right.
And I said, yeah. She goes, she's coming over to my house Wednesday morning. We're going to spend about 3 or 4 hours going over everything. And then Wednesday afternoon, we've set aside about 100 rounds of 9mm. She's going to get her first handgun class.
Nice.
And I thought, and it all
just one-on-one with Candy?
Yeah, just one-on-one with Candy.
Okay. Cool.
And it all stemmed from, that thing happening New Year's Eve really rattled her.
Yeah.
And then right on the heels of that, Christmas. Then right on the heels of that teacher in Raleigh broke into her house. She said that could have been just as easily, that could have been me. Yeah.
Absolutely could have.
So I'm gonna blame the media. I think the media has blood on their hands because they're massive pieces of shit with an agenda, and they absolutely do not care about anything other than their paycheck.
Nope.
And ratings.
Yep.
And and don't get me wrong, those people live in gated communities, and they got
absolutely they do. I mean.
And I got one more thing, and I promise I'll shut the hell up because I know I'm running off at the mouth.
No, you're fine.
This girl that I dated about 3 or 4 girlfriends ago, her name was Megan.
Okay.
Her father was a cameraman for WRAL, which is the local news station, and they're left leaning. They're very liberal biased, and he was bleeding heart liberal.
I would say, was he as leaning, or was he a little more moderate, even though he just works for the outfit?
He was pretty liberal, man.
Okay. It's whatever. It's fine.
And his wife was, You couldn't, yeah, like you couldn't talk to her about anything she didn't agree with.
Oh God,
because she would become hysterical.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Another type. Another type. Yeah.
There's no. So anyway, he and to the point to where like when we went over to his house for supper, the first time he had known me, we'd been out. He stopped me at the door and he said, "Are you carrying a handgun?" And and I thought, well, this ain't none of your fucking business.
None of your, yeah, that's my.
But I'm going in his house.
Still none of his business.
But I'm going in his house. So I said yes. He said, "You can't bring it in my house." He said, "Take it to the car or go home."
Like, are you going to ensure my safety while I'm in
your house? And now my girlfriend, who was actually conservative, had this look of shock on her face, and she looked at me, waiting for me to say something very, uncool. But you know what I did, Dave? I said, "Hey, it's his house. I'm going to respect it."
Sure.
So I said, "Okay, I'm going to unholster. I'm going to go to the car, and I'm going to put it up." And what I did is, I think I had a 1911 on my side. I took the holster off, slid under the seat, and if I remember correctly, I had a little 22 revolver in the car that I grabbed and stuck in my pocket.
Oh, that's great.
That's great. So anyway, we had met. We had all met at a nice restaurant, and we were seated outside. It was a beautiful day, and it was him and his wife, her stepmom, and then she and I rolled up, and they had got a seat outside. And in North Carolina, if you're drinking alcohol, you can't carry a gun.
Right.
Like you could go to somewhere that sells alcohol.
Yep.
But you can't consume.
Right.
So, and they knew that I enjoyed a good bourbon or a really nice beer. And this place had an amazing beer menu. And so I sat down and the waitress come, "What can I?" And I'm like, "I'll just have, sweet tea." And so the stepmother, and I'm purposely not using anybody's names.
Sure.
Though I probably should. The stepmother looked at me. She's like, "You're not going to have a beer?" And I said, No. Well, why not? And I'm like,
I don't drink at home.
Well, I said, because I got my gun on me. And her father looks at me and he says, "Say that again." I was like, I'm carrying a handgun. And North Carolina law states that if I want to have the beer, I have to take the gun to the car.
Right.
And I was like, I'm not doing that.
Right. I'd rather have my gun.
And he looks at me, Dave, and he goes, "Take your gun to the car. You can't have it here." And I said, "No." Now, at this time, I'd been dating her for a couple, 3 years.
Right.
So she and I were locked in.
Right.
At this point, I didn't give a flying fuck what her family thought of me.
Right.
So he says, "You're going to get up and you're going to take that gun to the car and come back." And he says this to me. And I said,
some balls. That's some audacity.
Right. And I said, "No, I'm not going to do it. And my next question to you is, what are you going to do about it?"
Right.
What are you going to do? Are you going to get up and leave?
Scared? Yeah. Yeah. Are you going to make me leave, or are you going to get up and leave?
Right. And he's like, I'm not gonna sit here in proximity of you knowing you have a gun on you." And I said, "Hey man," I said, "I gotta let you in a little secret." Every time, and we used to go out and eat together once a month or so or more. And I said, "I'm gonna let you in a little secret there, Dick," because that's short for his name. I said, "Every time that you have seen me,
I've had a gun.
I wasn't in your house, I had a gun on me." And he goes, "I'm going to demand that you take it to the car."
Cool.
And I was like,
"Good for you."
I said, "Let me run something by you here real quick there, fella, before we go any further. Because I'm going to get up. If you continue, I'm just going to get up and fucking leave, and I'm not coming back." And my girlfriend was like, "Yeah, and I'm going to go with him, Dad, because this is uncalled for."
Right.
So I'm like,
he's being a Karen before Karens were Karens.
Exactly. So I'm like, we're sitting here. We're on a restaurant off of Tryon Road, which is a pretty busy road, and we're in a shopping center, and there's people everywhere.
Right.
I said, what if a van pulls up right now and 4 dudes jump out and grab Megan and drag her in the van to kidnap her and turn her into a sex slave?
Right.
What are you going to fucking do?
Right.
And he goes,
halt, stop.
Right. I mean, what are you going to do? There's my girlfriend, your little girl, fucking boom. And he said that the chance of that happening is almost none.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah.
And I said, yes, you're right. The chance of that happening is almost none, but not none.
Right, right.
Not
it's
none.
Not, it's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
Highly unlikely, but it is certainly probable.
It's and then I referred him to, do you remember the lady in Texas that was meeting her mother and father in a diner, and the diner restricted concealed carry? And so she left her handgun in her car, and a guy came in and fucking had a gun and shot her mom and dad.
Oh, Jesus, no.
Yeah, shot her dad, challenged him. Guy shoots her dad. Dad falls down. Her mother rushes to aid her father, kills her mother. Now, when he came, and she was on the news. This was a long time ago, man. But if you Google that, you'll find the news story. And she was like, the guy came in. He had a rifle. It was, he technically had no idea what he was doing, but he had command of the room. She said, and I left my gun in the car because it was posted. She's like, but I had so many opportunities that I could have ended this. Right. She's like, it is my fault. My mom and dad are dead. Oh,
that's a killer thing to live with. Jesus.
Right? Google the story. It'll blow your fucking mind. I interviewed her, man. I mean, so I relayed that to him, and I said, hey, man, you're going to expect me to live with that? You're selfish. No, I'm not taking. Yeah. I'm not going to take my gun to the car. Now you can just drop it, and we'll sit here and we'll have a nice meal, or you can make an enemy of me and then upset your little girl, and then you'll figure it out.
Right.
So he buttoned up about it, and we ate. Of course, it was a very awkward meal. When it was over, I paid, got up, and fucking hit the road, and
piece them out.
and this is the last piece of the story, and this is going to piss you off. So we're driving home, and I'm ill, but I'm dealing with it. And my girlfriend, she goes, very disappointed in my father the way he treated you. And I said, yeah. And she said, I hate to admit this, but my father is a hypocrite.
Most liberals are.
And I said, well, how do you mean? She said, well, he keeps a revolver in a drawer beside the bed at home. And I know it's there.
Well, because that's different.
Because I've seen it.
Because that's different, though, Hunter. That's different. Having that drawer, never know how to use it, but having it there, that's different than you having it on you. You're a threat even to him, sitting in that restaurant,
Right.
So
and I thought,
I can't begin to get their headset mindset.
You hypocritical, liberal motherfucker. and then, they preach to me tolerance, be tolerant of other people's opinion. Yep. They preach to be tolerant, be understanding. And then, this was when Obama was in office. Okay. And of course, I had to hear about how great Obama was. And I had to hear about all, what an amazing, he was the Messiah. and fine, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, he's the president. I'm going to respect the office. I hope he does well.
Yeah.
When Trump was elected the first time, he sent me a Facebook message. This long diatribe.
Oh, God.
And then unfriended me and blocked me on Facebook.
Peace.
Well, he sent me the message
first. Dickhead.
He sent me the message first when he unfriended me. And it was about Trump and all this shit. Now, Trump had been in office a couple, 3 days. So I replied, dude, you're a fucking hypocrite. I know you keep a gun by your bed. Your little girl told me.
Right.
You give me shit all these years about carrying a gun, and you keep one by your bed for protection. Right. And B, all you ever did to me was preach tolerance and acceptance. But as soon as my man got in, You can't bother to be around me.
That was very much the liberal way, and still is.
Still is. And
Still
then he
is.
blocked me.
Yeah, I've had to not unfriended, but I've unfollowed some friends because they've gotten so Trump derangement syndrome and just screaming this ideology shit on Facebook. I'm like, I'm not even going to engage with it. I want to put the laughing emoji to all of it, but I'm just kind of like, I'm just going to unfollow you. Like, I don't care. I don't need that shit in my life. You'll live longer if you cut that shit out. You know what I mean? I'm still friends with them. I've seen them every now and again, but we just don't talk that shit. I don't need to see it on social media, Just fuck it.
Candy's been culling her friends list about as hard as mine. If anybody pops up and says anything stupid, she's like, you're done. Unfriend. I'm gonna send you this message. You're a liberal piece of shit. Don't ever friend me again. Unfriend, block.
I mean, that's one way to handle it. I mean, whatever works for you.
She's like, I ain't got time for this bullshit. Bless her heart.
No. I know he does. It's why I said like I'll unfollow them, not unfriend them, but unfollow them. So I'm not going to see their shit pop up because I don't care. I have more important shit to deal with than listen to you cry to me why whatever political person in office is the worst thing in the world because you've never heard me cry about any of it.
Right.
When it wasn't going my way.
Yeah. I never threatened to leave the country because Obama got elected or Joe Biden got elected.
Right.
And you couldn't, nothing on this planet could convince me Joe Biden was rightfully elected. And now they just uncovered all that stuff in Georgia where they had, I forgot how many hundreds of thousands of votes that were crooked.
Yeah. It's what not a shocker. I mean, and that's what's sad. It's like, I feel like our lack of, not expectation, but our lack of shock when this shit gets unveiled anymore is about like my same attitude towards like, movies and shows like, oh, look, new things coming out. They're probably going to suck because it's just like everything is shit anymore. Almost like every level in every way. It's like, whatever. I'm just going to go continue and like not put my blinders on, but I'm like, I'm going to pay attention to what I need to. It's more important. And I'll jump in, take a little tab on what's going on in the rest of the world and go, it's all still shit. I don't give a fuck. I'm going back to my life over here,
Did you see?
Go ahead. What?
Did you see? If I interrupt you, I'm sorry.
No, I was just waiting until the last little bit.
Oh, well, then I'll be super brief. Did you see the news footage today of the ICE agent that had shot the lady?
I've seen some angles of it. Yeah.
They were. I watched the video. The reason when you said, "Hey, it's on," I was like, "Fuck!" I lost track. I was watching a news story about it. And the Minnesota chief of police come out and he said that there were ICE agents there arresting people and they had protesters and one woman had blocked the road with her car.
Right.
A couple ICE agents walked up, shot her and killed her.
And they didn't walk up and shoot her and kill her. I've seen the video. And
I said to myself, oh no, that is awful. I mean, she didn't have no business blocking the road, but they shouldn't have just shot that woman and killed her. I said, but hold on. This is the news. So let's vilify anybody with a firearm because they're all evil and bad. Right. So I jumped on YouTube and did a little search. And then I found all the footage.
Yeah, it doesn't take much when you really push for it.
It didn't. And so what had happened was they had a bunch of protesters there yelling and screaming, and they were driving the road, and she whipped around them and then blocked the road with her car. One ICE agent walked in front of the car and two beside her, and they were trying to get her to leave. She was blocking the road. And she's yelling at them. And then she looks forward, puts her car in drive, and hits one of the ICE agents. I think the only reason that she didn't run him over and kill him is because I guess when she reached up and pulled it down the drive or he saw her, if you see the video, he jumps out of the way and the car just hits his hip. But if he wouldn't have moved, she'd have run him over and killed him.
Ran his ass over, yeah. And I saw somebody's posting recently, just this evening, was about basically using a vehicle in that manner is a weapon, therefore lethal force is an allowed response. And it's like, yeah, To me, honestly, how much I give a shit about it, it boils down to this: fuck around, find out.
Find out. You know it, but
It's
Dave,
common sense, man. Like,
but this leads me to the last question I'm going to ask you, and I'm sorry, but I like getting your thoughts on this shit because you're insightful, and I don't have an answer.
okay,
But explain to me or theorize what would cause someone to be so emboldened that they feel like they could block law enforcement with their car, and when they don't get in their way, they feel like, you know what, I'm just going to run this guy over and kill him.
dude, I don't get any of that shit. I don't get any of the protesting of all the bullshit that people are going out to do. I don't get any of it. It makes no fucking sense to me other than thinking we have people that truly have more mental disorders that are unchecked now than we have forever. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think there's a ton of people that are over medicated.
Oh,
but I think there's a ton of people that should be medicated and probably are not.
I'd agree with
more
that.
level-headed. Maybe there's too many bipolar people. I don't know. And this bitch was on a manic mode and was like, "I'm gonna stand up for my rights because my inner Karen's out." I don't know, dude. I don't begin to get this kind of shit. I truly don't. That's why I literally say I'll keep tabs on it. I'll see what's going on, and beyond that, I'll ask my wife, like, "Oh, did you see anything about this?" And she's like, "No." And I'm like, "Do you want my breakdown skinny on it?" And she's like, "Yeah." I give it to her and I'm like, "All right." After that, I'm fucking done with it. Let's talk about watching Stranger Things. And she's like, "Okay."
Candy and I were watching
like,
I'm
living a happier life than most people because they're constantly stuck to this feed.
Yeah.
Constantly trying to understand it, analyze it, be a part of it online or whatever. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck.
Do you
don't give a fuck?
Do you think that a comment in a post has ever changed anybody's mind?
Fuck no.
Right?
I do it all the time, argue people on movie shit just because it's entertainment to me.
Right.
You know, but go in the side of like, yeah, ice raids and shit like that. People get a damn life. Get a damn hobby. Get a real honest hobby. You know, read more books, watch movies, go learn to shoot guns at the range, something. But this protesting shit is just fucking dumb.
And the last point of that is I was watching. They were talking, and I'm not going to say the percentage because I don't remember and I don't want to misquote, but it was a pretty high percentage number of these people getting deported were violent felons and child traffickers. And I mean, I'm talking like.
So why do you have a problem with that? Why is that an issue?
Why is that an issue?
Oh, because you think the facts are wrong because they're fucking lying. They're just illegal aliens. Well, I don't care if they're fucking illegal. Get the fuck out of my country.
And, you know, if they're trafficking fucking kids and women for sex, you know, yeah, there you go.
Delete them.
Yeah, I think, and I don't want to sound like, you know,
I'm not saying I'm for a Judge Dredd dystopia, but there are times where it's kind of like, yeah.
I think that most people are redeemable. I really do. I want to think that. But Dave, I have to be very clear when I say this. If somebody's diddling kids, I'm Christian.
Your human card is gone.
I'm Christian, and I try to see the good. But if you're diddling a child,
no, just be deleted.
I don't think that there's any coming back from that, man.
No, there's no redeeming you.
Am I wrong to think that?
No, and you won't be judged that way, in my opinion, either. Because that's lower than human shit.
It is, you know. So, and I'm not going to get off on that because it'll get me upset.
Well, let's do a hard segue at that point right there. Then
good, thank you.
So, this weekend I ended up had a good range day on Saturday, and it was like an all day range day. One of my buddies, his dad's going through like dementia kind of bit since that's been rough and hard. And I know he's doing a lot of care, helping his mom out, take care of him and shit. So I was like, dude, it's a long weekend even for you, I think. You know, I was like, range day, come on. I was like, if you're working Friday, let's go Friday. If not Saturday, let's go Saturday. It's like, come on. I mean, I'm blowing it up obnoxiously, texting him and calling him like, dude, come on, answer me, yay or nay. And he was like, yeah. I was like, because you need it. Yeah, I blew you up too this weekend. So he's like, yeah, all right, Saturday. He goes, can we go early? You know, now mind you, I told you before, my drive to my range, it's an hour. It's a solid hour to get out there. He goes, Jesus, Tucker. Probably the neighbors are out front. Give him a minute.
Hey, he's looking out for shit.
I'm pause or I'm muted and he's barking. Go figure. So
get him, Tucker. Dave, do you want to take a second to go check that? All right.
no, you should just talk while I'm.
All right.
Here goes. He's shutting up now. Looks like. Are we good? Are we
Get
good,
him,
dog?
Tucker.
Yeah, right. Come here, dickhead. Come here. No, we rolled up. So he wanted to roll at like 7 a.m. because he wanted to be there at 8. I was like, holy shit. I'm like, okay. Thinking we'll probably be back by noon, Shit, no, we didn't come back till I think it was 4 or 5 in the afternoon. We were really out there all day. I mean, Grant, we did have a good lunch after we left that place, but I think we left the range at 3. I think.
Y'all had a day.
It was a day. And funny enough for me, none of my other shooting buddies, actually my like shooting buddies, made it out there. So it was a good friend of mine who was on the podcast with me talking about Predator Badlands. He shoots with me a couple times a year. It was his son, another buddy's son who we game with, and he's been wanting to come out and shoot, and then my son. So after me, I would say my buddy Nick and Mason are probably like pretty even skill-wise. Mason's done more competitions than Nick has, but Nick's still got more shooting time than Mason. But I'd say skill-wise, they're pretty neck and neck, honestly.
Nice.
His kids, his home buddy's kid, he's been out with us a couple times, like running courses of fire, tactical shooting, USPSA style, whatever you want to call it. And the other kid, he had not. I know he'd shot to a very tiny amount. Not much when I asked him, like, dude, have you shot before? He goes, well, I've shot. I was like, what'd you shoot? He goes, man, it's so long ago, I don't even know. I was like, okay. I was like, well, let's give you guys a quick rundown. One of them wanted to run my AK in 5.56. I got this out for another reason too. And the other one, he ended up sharing my 416 at home with me. It's pretty damn impressive. And I talked to both these kids about this. How much video games, Call of Duty, Battlefield, games like that do a lot of stuff right with guns that these kids knew how to handle and move proficiently in a really quick limited course of fire safely and fast. It's like, damn. I was like, guys, literally, I could tell you're doing some Call of Duty shit here. I'm like, because you know what? I was like, the old school Call of Duty and like Rainbow Six games, they went to the range, they shot the guns and then put them in the games. Now it's a little more copy and paste. And now sometimes you see like in the game, they'll charge the rifle and you'll see an airsoft bolt instead of an actual AR bolt carrier group. Whatever. The mechanics is still the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to like harp on that, but the fact is you've got this 18, 19-year-old kid who their biggest exposure to these guns is modern gaming like that. And they can pretty much pick the gun up and pretty much run it. I mean, now doing things like an AK, rock and locking a magazine in, that takes a little bit of more finesse they weren't used to. Or watching the one, he ran the gun dry on the AR, drops the mag out, gets the mag off his belt, gets it in there, and he comes up with this like underhand like this to hit the charging handle. And I literally went, whoa, the fuck are you doing? And he goes, I don't know, but I feel really stupid right now. I said, here's the thing, dude. I'm like, if your bolt's locked back and you want to come pull the charging handle, I'm gonna tell you it's not the most advised way to do it, but you can. It's not wrong. Might look silly to guys who know how to shoot, like I might point and laugh at you. I was like, but coming this full like underhand on the left side of the receiver is like, that just looks fucking retarded. He starts laughing. I was like, because there's a little button, and he goes, yeah, I know. I said, but it's okay. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing this, And from running courses of fire like that, I then got into doing, I don't know what you want to call it. We started off at like 15 yards on the steel plate, and I wanted them starting low ready because their holsters were a hodgepodge of things. I was like, let's just start low ready, 15 yards, come up, one shot, make one shot, one hit. That's it. Kind of like playing horse almost. And we kept backing up 5 yards. And each time those kids were like, oh, this is cool. I get it now. So if I miss, I go back to the rotation. And eventually I was like, yeah, we'll stay here until you get your one shot. They're like, oh, okay. We get to 25 yards and they're like, holy shit, we're supposed to hit it from here. I was like, here's the thing, guys. It's like, 25 yards actually is kind of a long range pistol shot. I was like, when you're trying to be accurate, just standing here like this. I said, but I was like, him and I, we grew up at 20 years old, 21 years old with handguns. The range was only 25 yards. And we just peppered a target like a damn buckshot hitting it because we had no idea what we're doing. We couldn't go look at the thing. So it was just, you just go mag after mag after mag. I was like, but yes, you can do it. I'm asking one shot on timer as fast as you can. You know, that's all I want you to do. And I think we got backed up to about 40 yards before we had to quit because some of the guys came in another bay and the bay walls just didn't go that far. So we were out past them. So I was like, okay, let's bring it back in and do some other stuff. But the one kid, he was running my Glock 34 with a ALG 6-second mount. So it's the fixed optic mount. So the optic doesn't move. And he got one on his first shot at probably 30. He was 30 for 35 yards. First shot, he got it. Everybody else failed, came to me. I hit it. I missed my first time too. I missed the first time. I was like, I'll just go and go a second time. We went second time, and it was like second and a half. And they were all like, holy shit. And I was like, that was kind of slow. And like, well, but he got it on his first shot. And I was like, yeah, because he's there for like 5 minutes before I pulled the trigger. I was like, but that's okay. I was like, I want you guys to understand that distance, you can make good solid hits at that distance. But yes, you're taking your time, you're doing it slow as shit, but that's okay. And we're like, well, how do you shoot it as fast as you are? And I was like, because I shoot a whole lot more than you guys do and way more often. You can't do it at my speed, not saying I'm fast. I was like, but you can't do it at my speed doing this twice a year.
Right.
Doesn't work that way. You've got to put time in. And they're just like, oh, you watch this, their minds calculating. My buddy's like, yeah, I need to get him more often. I said, honestly, man, now he's new to a red dot. And he at one point thought the dot was off, like 0. So of course I did the whole like cocky thing, like give it here, put some ammo in it. We got like 35 yards. I was like, ping. No, it's good. Like it's you. But I was like, but you, man, I was like, you could correct this shit with dry fire at home. I was like, put sticky notes up on 3 walls, dry fire, just come up, click, rack it again, click, I was like, you can do dry fire can fix a lot of your issues with that. I was like, but otherwise, you do got to hit the range. And it's not like you have to spend a ton of ammo on this shit. Like giving them that whole drill, 1 round at 5 yards, minus if you miss, you'll try it again, but still backing up. Sure, you could spend 50 rounds doing that, but I think that's 50 quality rounds.
Sure. You're not just at the square range banging away.
No.
Something Candy does, and I had heard about it and forgot about it. And Candy showed me. She was out here. She had got a group of like 4 people, 3 women and a guy to teach defensive handgun. And she's like, hey, can you come along? I need another RO just to keep an eye on everybody.
Sure.
And she said, we'll double team this, so to speak, and we'll both kind of instruct. And I'm like, it's your gig, you lead instruct, and I'll just follow up if you get tired or whatever.
Right.
And there was a one girl, she was just anticipating the recoil bad. So Candy would load her mag away from her, and she would intermingle snap caps.
Right.
And so when you hit the snap cap,
yep.
And it was in the first time it happened, the girl, she's like, oh my God, what am I doing? And Candy's like, calm down. It's your body's natural reaction to an explosion going off in your hand. You're trying to anticipate that recoil.
Right.
But, and then Candy whipped out the old quarter and set it on the front sight, and click, rack, click, and
yeah, she
addressed that pretty well. I was proud of her. So that
it's fun. Like both the kids, they ran the rifles more efficiently looking. Handguns, like grips were a little odd. And I kind of was like, all right, here's the thing, you guys, is like, you only come out here with me a couple times a year. I was like, at first time, like I let a lot of shit slide. I would tell you things to change. Second time, kind of same thing. Now I'm like, screw it. Every time you come out here, I'm gonna school you every time. If I see like, one kid's finger is constantly like here through his trigger guard, I was like, get it higher. I want the finger higher. I was like, you're such a rookie. I want that finger as high as you can kick it. I don't want it just here. I want it here. So when I'm on this side looking through and I see, blockage of that trigger guard, I know your finger's not in there, but you're too close. I was like, get it higher. And he was like, okay. Another buddy was like, they both kept trying to do the whole like finger over the trigger guard a little bit, which I'm like, if that works for you, that's fine. I'm not gonna knock it, but at the same time, 4 fingers underneath, I think, is a better move with your thumbs forward.
Yeah, I see people, they'll shoot in their support hand, they reach out and put it in front of the trigger guard.
And I mean, a lot of companies put a shelf there for you to do that, but I also have heard a lot of the instructors say that typically doing that, you pull the muzzle down more doing it. So I'm like, don't do it. These 4 fingers should be under the trigger guard, like hand straight, hand cocked forward, match it in. And they were like, oh, okay. But in the end, did really well. Partly because they were 18 and 19 years old, whereas my buddy, he's the same age as me. He's got a lot of just bad habits that he would like grip it. It looked like he was holding a rifle the way he grabbed the front of his gun. I'm like, what are you doing, man? I'm like, this is where you're at. I was like, get your hands underneath here. I'm like, you're going to shoot better. I was like, if you're missing from here, it's because it's bad form at this point,
I literally did a short today, like maybe an hour before we jumped on about that, and it was something, it was kind of clickbaity, honestly. And it was like, people argue about caliber and they forget about some of the most important things. And then in the video, I'm like, you're going to get into a caliber war with somebody. Here's what's more important. Your grip on your gun, your trigger control, your sight alignment, your sight picture, your fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
You got good, solid fundamentals where you can repeatedly interface with that handgun reliably. The caliber war it ends there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Rock what you want to rock, be proficient with whatever you have. I don't really give a shit what it is,
I think that most people don't want to get shot.
Right.
So I would never advocate for somebody to go out and buy like a 22 long rifle as their defensive carry.
Right.
But, if that was all they could shoot, and they were good at it,
And I recall I touched on something like that with them because both these two, they're definitely fans of like Grand Thumb and some of the other really high polished, I think, video content that's out there. And they take it all as the gospel. And I was like, no, guys. No. Take everything with a grain of salt.
Right.
I was like, unless you're paying money in a class, I was like, anything you see on this shit, even what we're talking about here, is still all very subjective. Like, take it all with a grain of salt.
And I would go so far as to say, even if you're in a class, make sure you're in a reputable class.
Yes. Because there's, I won't say what, but I've taken a class from a rather legendary character. And while most of his shit I think is really good, he's got some shit I think is very, very dated. And the way he harps on whether he likes it or not, I was just kind of like, I'm going to leave that behind. But you never argue it in the class there because that's inappropriate.
Of course, I did that all through gun sight, but
well, it's you though. You're Hunter Elliott,
I got a mouth, and I might not be good at shooting, but I'm good at talking shit.
So last funny bit I had, really.
Okay.
So I was the armor for the weekend too.
Okay.
So I told one buddy's kid to come over, pick what he wanted. His buddies to come with him. He couldn't, so he FaceTimed him. I had way too many guns out of the safe. He wanted me to take like 6 or 7 guns. I was like, no. You both get a rifle and a pistol. I was like, that's fucking it. You're not getting 2 rifles, 3 rifles. It's like, I have to lug all this shit out there. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, he really wanted to shoot an AK. I was like, well, ammo wise, I was like, honestly, man, 7.62 is great. It's cool and all, but run the 5.56 one just because your dad's got 5.56. You're going to go buy 5.56, 223, whatever. It's just easier to run through. I was like, and if you and your buddy are going to trade guns midway through, like he'll run the AK, you'll run the 4.16, just stick with one caliber. Okay. And he's like, sure. Well, this thing I don't think this has been shot since I installed this newer handguard, which, I mean, it's a RS Regulate M-Lock.
Is it supposed to look that stupid?
Shut up. Dick.
Sorry.
It's a really lightweight, really rugged handguard, but
it was my driveway alarm.
To what? Your driveway alarm?
Yeah.
Something lighting up?
Can we pause?
Yeah,
it?
go see what's up. Go see what's up.
That's for my driveway alarm to go off.
What is your alarm? Like a light or an actual siren sounding thing or what?
Oh, I got a light on outside too.
So is the alarm like an actual auditory alarm?
Well,
at least I can see you by the front door in your gated, closed-in porch. Oh, lights are on. Hunter's shining a light out in the darkness. I can't see what you're holding, but nothing out there?
But
nothing out there?
That was weird. So I have motion lights everywhere.
Right.
And they're tied to cameras.
Right.
But you've been to my house, my driveway is
long.
1,200 foot long.
Yeah.
So I've got these little sensors and they're brown and they're not very large. And I've got one way up my driveway. And then I've got one.
But do they go off like a noise?
Yeah, they make a chime.
Okay.
And so I have 3 of them, Dave. And I've got one pretty close to the front of my driveway. Or like if somebody was to pull in,
or their warning system,
it dings.
Right.
But it's close enough to where if they pull in to turn around, it'll still ding. So what I did is I put one about halfway down. So if I hear 2 dings,
right.
Oh, they're coming down my driveway. Well,
Sure.
My mom and my driveway tie together.
Yep.
So I put one there. So if they cross over, so like if somebody comes down my driveway or my mama's driveway, the first alarm always dings.
Right.
If I hear the second one, that means they're on my driveway and they're almost halfway down.
Right.
But then if I hear the third one and they're all 3 different chimes, that means that something is crossing in between my driveway and my mama's driveway.
Right.
And so I heard a driveway alarm, and then I heard the alarm that crossed over. And then when I'm looking, I can see my porch. One of the motion light was on. So something. Now, when I shine that light out there, which is
big enough to trip it.
Anything, I've got it set to where anything taller than a fox will trip it.
Okay.
And it's tripped off of either heat or motion.
So it could have been deer.
So it could have been a deer. It could have been a deer. Could have been a coyote. But for this late at night, I just wanted to take a second to go see.
No, you're fine.
And that's why, friends and neighbors, you keep a fucking light on your damn defensive rifle.
Right.
I know you're not, whatever it was, I was flagging, but
yep.
that provided, that was just proof of concept right there. When it's dark, you want a damn light on your
have a light on multiple rifles, honestly. You don't have to have all super high end. Like there's normally one on this AK. I took it off because from shooting Saturday, the RS Regulate handguard came loose. Now, RS Regulates are like some of the lightest and most like robust ones. And I had to fit this trunnion block here that goes in the receiver. I call it trunnion block, but this block goes down into the receiver. I'd like sand it, make this thing fit, and the handguard screws into it. So, I mean, it's stupid solid. And I thought maybe just my screws came loose because I was like, I don't know if I've shot it since I put it on. When I look at it, and that whole block came out of the receiver, I was like, that shouldn't happen because I'd like hammer that bitch in. And this evening, I finally took it all apart to get it back together. And once I got it relatively set, I hammered it back into place. Best thing I can really think of, dude, it was in the 20s. We were out there shooting and had an hour-long drive of 20 degrees all the way out there that maybe it did contract enough that it came loose. Maybe.
Did you smear it with red Loctite?
There's nothing to Loctite.
Yeah, but you could smear a surface with red Loctite.
Really?
And it'll add when it now
almost like adhesive to a degree.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be like a glue,
Right.
But if you have two flat surfaces with red Loctite between them, it will add friction to.
Well, I will try that because now it's back together. I actually need to get out and check the zero and shoot it because the last Kalashnikov AK shoot in Missouri, which I've shot 3 years in a row, but I haven't shot in the last 2 years. Their last one is this May. And look at the email today about it. Like the registration, it's like in February. But I was like, you know what? It's like, I'm in. If it's the last match, I'm in. I'm going to go back.
Where's it at?
Versailles, Missouri is where the range is. Like I want to say it's an hour, I think, west of St. Louis.
Are you flying or driving?
No, I'll drive.
How far is it for you?
8-ish.
Wow. You go by yourself?
No, my buddy Ryan, he's going with me out there. Like every time we've shot that one, I think he said he's in too. He'll go. Going out, we'll probably stop at his parents' house in St. Louis and grab a bite with them, and then finish the way out. But then coming back, we'll just come straight back out. But yeah, so I need to get this thing out of the range and shoot it and make sure that this thing isn't going to come loose again. And I guess if it does, I'll try Loctite. And if it comes loose again after that, I'm going to have to hit up RS Regulate and go, okay, all right, help me out. Why is this block coming out of this gun? Because this AK shoots, man. This 5.56 is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, so that should be fun.
Well, that'll be cool, man.
Yeah. So, well, we've been on here for a bit, so I guess let's close it out with where you at, man?
Rangeshot.com. I just dropped the video. I think it was today of the master engraver at the Colt Custom Shop. We did a little interview with him at the custom shop. So anybody interested, when we get off the computer, I'm going to finish editing my Savage tour.
Nice.
And then I've got to edit my Colt tour.
Nice.
And then I've got interviews with Savage and Colt employees. So I'm going to get as much as that as I can drop before shot.
Cool.
So rangeshot.com. We got a lot of cool shit on the website. Got a lot of cool shit on YouTube. Stop by, take a look, see, subscribe, talk shit to me.
I'm saying same thing. It's one-stop shop, just as Rangeshot is for him. Livefire-media.com for me. You can get to all the socials where it's, I don't know. I try to be active on some of that shit, but other times, like I said earlier, there's just dumb shit going on. I just don't care, but I'll try and share some fun stuff here and there. Like,
well,
I'll try and share the progress of the AK, reset up and zero, and plus something else I got to work on that we'll save for next week.
I'll leave with this. You talking about socials, Dave? Candy got me into doing reels, and so I'm doing reels on Range Hot, and I'm sharing them to my personal Facebook page, and I did it twice, and I got my pee slapped by Facebook for sharing gun time.
What a shocker! Yeah, Facebook.
So I'm like,
Facebook's the one I would leave it alone, but
yeah,
I don't know. Instagram still seems like it's okay. X is okay.
Yeah. Rumble. So, I'm gonna upload some shit to Rumble, but
I think it's worth. But I hear a lot of negative on Rumble that's kind of fake. So take that for what it's worth. Yeah. I mean, I upload all this shit to Rumble too. I mean, I don't. It's whatever. It's kind of like be on everything. You almost have to. So
yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. Before we totally sign off in here, this is the 7th. We'll release this next week, the 14th. We'll probably just skip the week of SHOT Show because I'll be honest, we probably ain't have time to record anything and have fun at SHOT Show because we'll be too busy actually hanging out.
Right. Yeah, SHOT Show's in 2 weeks, man.
2 weeks. So we'll record next week. There'll be pre-SHOT Show. Following week will be SHOT Show, and then we'll quickly follow up with a post-SHOT Show.
Now, if you wanted to do a little live fire media, like 5-minute at the SHOT Show booth, we could do that.
Yeah, you could probably do something like that.
If you wanted to, or if you wanted to, like when we go to drop our gear off somewhere, and we could sit in a room like we did last time and do a little 5-minute something. We would, if you wanted to.
Yeah, no, we'll see what we can do because I know between obligatory planned dinners that I'm looking forward to that sound fantastic and parties that are always fine. We'll see if we can edge in some time to goof off and do something like that. And if not, whatever. But
we'll catch it up when we get here.
Yeah. Till then, everybody else. Till next time. So hope you enjoyed it. If not, wait for the next one.
Yep. I'll send you your money back via check, email.
Peace.
Later.